Alright, been a while since I've done one of these. Been a really long time. Basically I've hardly played at all since having a baby like 9 months ago. So there's one time there was like a beta right before the final release that I was allowed to participate in, but I didn't have enough time to play it all the way through, so that made me pretty sad. Got a little bit of time today because of in-laws watching the baby, so I erased my old save and starting over from scratch. I've got something a little special here. Not that special, but you'll see. So basically, I'm gonna use the character customizer. I've already got some codes, or some codes saved up that in my notepad. That basically, I'm gonna try to I'll have all my heroes or somehow resemble the kind of setups you would have seen in Dead in Vinland, which is kind of old school, going back 10 years or so. That was kind of one of the biggest things that they did before they changed their name to Ishtar and made this game. So kicking it old school, they go back even farther than that. They've done lots of various things. Dead in Bermuda was before I even knew who they were. Dead in Vinland was the first game that they made that I knew about. But Dead in Vinland is actually a pretty good match because a lot of the characters use like medieval-ish, that kind of high fantasy type weapons. It's not a perfect fit because in the last spell there are rifles, and in Dead in Vinland there are none whatsoever. So I'm just gonna try not to unlock that weapon type at all, because if I want to keep the immersion, I can't use rifles. So it's rifles, pistols, just off limits. And even crossbows and hand crossbows are a little bit of a stretch, but I think I'm gonna have to allow the hand crossbow because I don't want to make this too super hard on myself for no good reason. So the intro is, they cooked that up like more than a year ago. That's already old news. I think some of the in-game stuff will be new to me if I ever get that far. I'm gonna have to find lots of days off because I think there are like 5 or so maps. The first one is just an intro. But some of them you could take, basically an entire work day's worth of gaming time and carving out that time. It's just something, for months at a time, that's just not possible. All right, so let's show off the fancy character editor. So let's see. How do I get to that? Let's see. And click on the paintbrush. This person has a wand. And input code. Yes. I have a little, you can't see it, it's off screen. I have a notepad, but for a wand user, I'm gonna just go with, I'm gonna copy the code that represents Moira, and let's see if it still works. Yeah, so that's a nice feature they added over a year ago, back when I still had time to play the game. Technically, she would rather use a staff, but there aren't any really hardcore. The game doesn't have any canonical wand users that I remember. It's been a very long time, but the very first map is kind of on the short side, so if this were a longer level, I would try to switch over to staff if it was really going to be a Moira, for example. And we've got a bow user. Oh wait, so let me cancel out of that. I just noticed something, that this no body armor. Oh, so he can wear pants, but I mean, by far the wildest personality is a ranged user. For a bow, the thing is there are no throwing weapons, so I might have to cheat a little bit, and maybe Shanaw can use bows as well as daggers, because daggers are the only weapon that have one of their special abilities involves throwing the daggers, which is pretty cool. So I have to decide, and because this is a nudist, do I like Shanaw is by far the character who likes to break all the rules and run wild, and to a large extent Kari goes along with it, but like Shanaw always wants to go crazy, and you as the player kind of get some control over whether Kari decides to go along with it or not. So this character is either Kari because they have a bow, or Shanaw because this character is a nudist. I thought I was gonna, for the very first level, I would want to do the starter family, but I think this. How often am I going to see that traded? This is kind of a little too perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you what I've got in my notepad. Yeah, I must have had a hard time with this one, because this was it's not perfect, but it's just going to have to... I did like all 14 of them or whatever a long time ago, and spending that much time in the character editor, it's kind of a slog, so it's close enough. I mean, perhaps it looks slightly similar to Parvaneh, but anyways, that's gonna be Shanaw. And who we got here? We've got, this has to be a melee because you always get one of each. Well, one-handed hammer. So this might be Eustache. I think Eustache had a hammer. Oh man, why am I drawing a blank here? Wow, it really has been a long time. Because there are definitely some two-handed hammer users. I think he had like a mace. He held a Bible, and he also had a mace. I'm pretty sure this is Eustache. Because like... he was in the game back in Vinland. Let's see. Yep, that's what he looked like. All right. Okay, so showing off the character editor. It's kind of fun. Doesn't really change anything. And the thing is, you only spend like you never get to save your characters, and you have to you have to paste you have to copy and save and then paste it yourself. It'd be nice if there were like an in-game thing that remembered your favorite characters and their names. I think they're hard at work on a bunch of other games now, and you know, it is what it is. If you want it bad enough, it's not hard. It's just doesn't have quite as many quality of life bells and whistles either. Okay. Let's go a little bit faster if I get a little bit more forward with them, because there's these little barricades. They're not gonna get hit. I should really try to just go fast here because it's just 3 nights, not particularly hard. Yeah, my computer's a little bit old. Okay, yeah, I already know that. Yep. Hotkeys and stuff. Yep. But these things sometimes have evasion. Yeah, so I hold on. Let's see. Do you have yeah. Straight arrow. Ooh, I think this used to have no dodge. They must have nerfed it, because it used to be, yeah, they used to call this one, I think this used to be, the slot number 1 used to be precise shot. It was undodgeable. I guess that was too strong, and they didn't want you to have, like, kind of makes sense. The way they do ranged is that ranged weapons, their accuracy declines the farther away your enemies are, and having an ability that completely negates it and that drawback and then some was a little bit too strong for a weapon that was already regarded as kind of top tier. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember all the hotkeys. Okay, you can hold Alt to see all the, like, the union of their movement ranges. So that individual unit, I hover and I see it goes that far, hold down Alt. So if I'm out, so 2 spaces, none of these are ranged, so if I'm, basically I could walk even closer, I could walk all the way up here and I will be fine. And, oh yeah, I'm getting all these, you know, any messages about things that I already know. Okay, so that's unreachable. And I have some options. I could do this one. Okay, this character will get +5 mana. So using that skill a couple of times total will be totally fine. Kind of wasting some steps. I should really go around this way if I want to get in range. Okay, tutorial level. Like, these are hardly even worth attacking, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. And We have no range, so not much we can do here. Yep. More pop-up messages about stuff that I trialed and errored back in the early betas. So, yep, already know, thanks. Yeah, I believe this one should be pretty solid. So, kind of fun. It can be fast-paced if you're good at making decisions quickly. And kind of some fairly interesting I think I need to just use this. Okay, so that was a little aggressive, but I think if I wipe out some of these enemies, it should be a relatively safe spot. So which enemies can still reach? That one moves fast. Some of these move fast. How about you? You regenerate 5 mana. You only have one skill that costs 4 mana, but now, because I've already committed my melee person, I should go ahead and also commit some mana to, preserving health. So those, when they're badly wounded, they can barely walk at all. So the melee dude already looks like he's safe. So let's just walk. So that person was not even body blocking, so even if this person just takes a step back, they cannot reach that character, hero, or however you want to call it. So that's one thing that's kind of cool about this. There are various reasons that you may want to leave the wounded ones alive, because they get in each other's way. They deal less damage, they move slower, and they just get in each other's way. So wounded enemies are very valuable obstacles. Okay, so a little too close, and now we're safe. Alright. Oh, this one, yeah, this is a really helpful, and if I didn't already know about this, it would be a lot harder. It's a huge quality of life thing, so definitely use that left alt to plan your movement. That's kind of huge. Okay, I think I could start using mana on this guy as well. I don't think I'm going to, though. I think I'm just gonna do that. He has very limited target selection, so maybe take one step forward. Try to one-shot this runner. And ooh. Okay, I do have a skill where you get a temporary dodge buff, but I'm not. I think I'm just gonna assume that I've got him cleared out. So just dump out some more damage and then run away. Okay. How are we for mana? Okay, so if we want to fully restore mana, we don't want to use any more of our big spells. That goes for both of our characters who've spent 4 each, and they're going to recover 5. Okay. This transfer might yeah, the short bow has more options for attacking without spending mana. Okay, so let's just do this and then cancel it just so I can get a preview of the... Okay, so kinda... Anyway, you know, this wooden panel kind of basically is the end of the safe zone, kinda. This is kind of a clear boundary there. Okay, so let's just donate our last action point to a character who has, for example, this. Okay, this power shot. I believe it has an accuracy penalty. Oh, this one used to have an additional accuracy penalty, but I think they unnerfed that. So instead of the accuracy getting even worse, this one used to have like terrible accuracy, and this one used to have 100% accuracy no matter what, which was kind of insanely good. But I think this one, yeah, they just let the short range of it be the only downside. Yeah, don't allow them to spread panic. Okay. Yeah, this hammer dude, he just doesn't have enough useful things to do right now. So let's get line of sight, always. This lamppost, I think, is the real issue right here. Okay. Also line of sight. Okay, so those two runners are the most dangerous, and I don't have good line of sight on them. This character does. So let's... Oh, good. It does not airball a misclick. It'll ask you to pick a real target. That's pretty handy. Okay, let's go ahead and preview. Already looking pretty good. Okay. Not too crazy about using a power shot right now, because none of them really need the extra damage. Just do whatever, I guess. Alright, Eustache can just chill for this turn.
Laundry's dry.
Oh. Okay, let's spend some mana here. I think that's gonna... I think they're... I don't want to... Yeah, I don't want Eustache to get any deeper than that. I think there's... Yeah, there's enough still around that I'm not totally confident that I can clear out all of them, but that's totally fine. Oh, I still had one. Yeah. Okay, that was some. That's okay. Nobody can attack anymore. Let's take down that one. That is full health. Oh, wait a second. I still have an action point. Alright, proverbial walk in the park. Yeah, I could do this faster on my desktop. It's a bigger screen, and the mouse is a little bit more responsive. USB wireless mouses are kind of convenient, but it feels like there's a little bit of latency in my accuracy just because of the screen size and just my computer being a little bit old. Everything is slowing it down just a little bit. So this game actually runs fairly snappy. I mean, there's a lot of zombies. So sometimes the number of things you have to do and the number of things you have to think about. Unless you're very fast, very good, you can make very good decisions very quickly with lots of actions per minute, it could run a little bit long, but the actual UI is not an obstacle. So I think they did pretty well with that. Yeah, I've got stuff I need to do in real life real quick, so I think I'm gonna end this. I might edit together 2 separate videos just into a combined one, but in real life I'm going to end this recording that I'm working on now, so I can do that stuff. So yeah, this is Dead in Vinland meets The Last Spell. Seems pretty fitting. A little bit of nostalgia for people who know about it. It's you should go back and play it. It was a nice game. It's a little bit on the long side eventually, but the story is kind of fun. I would say that the replayability of Dead in Vinland is also kind of nice because which characters you recruit, which stories do you learn about is also pretty cool. Unfortunately, it can be very long because you just get a couple pages of stories after every morning and night cycle, and it's very slow paced. It's fun. It's very cool. It's just play through it a couple times and then you kind of seen everything. A lot of crazy stuff happens. Don't want to give any spoilers, but I have some good memories about that one. Wanted to see the characters again, so I brought them here, and hopefully I find enough time to actually play the entire game from start to finish, but I'm off to a slow start. I think on my home computer it might be a little bit faster, but hopefully we can do at least 1 or 2 towns on my laptop before I head back home. So far we're only on one night through the very first map, but finding my bearings is, after being away for almost a year, is kind of rough. But that's it. See you around.